Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Squirtle Live Coaches Preview as we look ahead to the 2017 football season. My name is Michael Swisher, sitting alongside Coach Jeff Myers of the Kingfisher Yellow Jackets as we are going to look at Class 3A here. And Coach, Week 0 is here. We're just a couple of days away from the start of the football season, and that means you're going to get started as we have the Marlowe Outlaws coming to Kingfisher this week. How are the Jackets looking, and what can we expect from your team this year?
We've had a good week of practice. Finished our last hard day today. You're probably going to see a lot different look from what you've been used to seeing in the last couple of years. We're going to probably be throwing the ball a lot more than what we have been in the last few years. You're also going to see a not very big line up front, but a very athletic line. And, hopefully there's going to be a lot more excitement because I know how people like to see offenses throw the ball around, and they're going to get their wish this year because that's going to be a lot of it. And, of course, we have Cole Crosswhite back, and they're going to get some excitement with him because he is a very good running back for us.
Yeah, solid running back, 2 years of starting experience already under his belt, only a junior, over 1,400 yards last year and about 26 touchdowns, I believe. You are having to replace Trevor Buckner at quarterback. He produced a lot of yards for you on the ground and through the air, a lot of touchdowns. He was a pleasant surprise for the Jackets last year as you go 11-2 and reach the quarterfinals. Turning it over to Jet Sternberger this year, what can we expect from Jet?
A lot of the same. I mean, he's bringing a lot to the table that is a lot the same that what Trevor did. You know, he has good speed. He's actually deceptively fast. He has a little bit of shake to him because of, I'm sure, probably his basketball skills have helped a lot in that. But he throws the ball really well. He has not only has great touch with the ball, but he also has a little bit of a, he can throw the ball deep. So I mean, you're going to have that a little bit different from what it was with Trevor. Trevor was a little bit more of a touch passer and kind of short game type stuff, and we're probably going to stretch the field a little bit more with Jet.
And he's got a lot of big weapons. I know you can put about 4 receivers out there that are 6'2", 6'3", or taller.
Right.
And get Cole the ball in the open field.
Right.
Use him in the passing game as well. So we'll see how that shakes out for the Jackets. And we know Coach Blundell always does an excellent job with your defense on that side of the ball. Last year, as I said, you get to the quarterfinals, go to Cushing, and are defeated by the Tigers 31-13, and what was really a good ball game. Cushing the next week 7-6 loses to Plainview in the semifinals, and then Plainview loses to Jones 16-6 in the title game, as the Jones Longhorns are your reigning state champions. In your eyes, is Jones the team to beat until somebody beats them?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that they have a lot of returning starters back, and I would definitely agree with them being the number one team coming in this year. And and I think probably the rankings that are out thus far, I think that's probably a pretty good measuring stick of what our class is going to be.
Yeah, the class, the AP rankings, and Squirtle will have its own rankings coming out as the season gets going, a comprehensive set of rankings there as they really take into account a lot of different factors for their rankings on Squirtle. But as far as the AP rankings, which just came out, they do have Jones at number 1 in the state, John Marshall number 2, a team that you saw last week in the scrimmage, and you can attest firsthand to how talented and how big John Marshall is. Berry Hill number 3, Cushing 4, they've got your Yellow Jackets at number 5, Plainview 6, Sulphur 7. I mean, just a lot of really solid teams there, but it's also a lot of teams that finished well last year, and people are expecting them to be pretty good this year. Is there a Cinderella in the class for you? I know you're pretty high on Sulphur, that maybe they could sneak up on some people.
I think probably one of the reasons that I'm high on Sulphur is just because they've had some tradition in the past, and they're kind of coming back around with some kids, and they have some size. They've done really well the last couple of years as far as kind of taking that step back to where they have been. I think they're going to be somebody that's going to, probably make some waves. Again, I think Jones is probably the team to beat, but John Marshall, there's this talented group of kids that I've seen in Class 3A in a long time, and I'm just telling you, if they get their heads screwed on straight and learn a little bit of, I guess discipline as far as realizing what they have, then they're gonna be a force to be reckoned with. And it's, right now their Achilles heels, they get in the playoffs and they go against somebody that has some fairly close equal, talent as they do, and they just get out played, or certain things happen and they don't go their way, and that lack of discipline kind of goes out the window. But all those teams that you mentioned, Berry Hill, Cushing, us, Lincoln Christian. You're looking at a lot of the same teams that are there year after year and year after year. So it's I'd say it's kind of top heavy.
Yeah.
Would be a good way of putting it in Class 3A.
We talked about the size that John Marshall has. Nigel Brandon, the offensive lineman, we got a good look at him. 6'7", 340 pounds, got offered by TCU before his junior year. A lot of people have seen the highlight play of Devontae Lee. He had almost 3,000 rushing yards last year, and people just don't want to tackle him.
We still haven't.
He's big, and he's strong, and he's physical, and he's faster than he looks, and he's quick, he's athletic. We saw it from that hurdle, 37 rushing touchdowns last year, and it's just a team with just a lot of size up front. And then with Devontae Lee running the ball, they are tough. Jones, Sean Shaw, big 6'6" wide receiver. It's just it's tough to match up against something like that, especially when teams have to throw some smaller kids out there. And then they've got some size, 6'3", 240 up front with Dalton May on the defensive end there. Are there any players out there that that in Class 3A that you're worried about? Oh man, we got to line up against this guy. Tough to stop.
As far as the people that we're going to be facing on during our regular season, Tuttle is a non-district foe that we're going to be meeting, and I think one of their tackles, I'm not sure what his name is, but he's already committed, I believe, to OSU. And he is a very large human being.
Yes, he is.
And we got to see him last year. So
and you don't have anybody that
we do not have anybody that. We don't have two people that would equal his size. But he's going to be probably the first guy that we're going to face. Marlowe that we're fixing to face this Friday. They have some size. It's not anything comparable to John Marshall and Tuttle or even Sulphur for that matter, because Sulphur has some great big kids, and I think that are getting a lot of looks. But John Marshall, the Nigel kid, we had an early eclipse on Friday, not Monday. It was Friday, because man, that guy, when he stands up, it's there's a lot of shade.
And that's 6'7", 340. That's not made up. The guy is big and he's legit. And
it's every bit of that.
He's strong, and and he can move around. Extremely talented. But it should be an interesting season. Like I said, I think in my opinion, John Marshall might be that team that everybody needs to beat. But when you got those 5 playoff games that you have to win to win a state title, there's just a lot that can happen within that extra half season.
It is. It's basically a whole nother season, and that's what people don't realize. Once you get through that first part of your regular season, then it's like do over.
Yeah.
And that's 5. That's not 5 cupcake games. That's 5 legit ball games. So it's not like you've padded your schedule a little bit. You're fixing to go against 5 really tough teams, and if you can stay healthy, and you can kind of keep your eye on the ball, then it's anybody's game.
Yeah. Well, we got games coming this week, and we're certainly ready for them to start happening here in Oklahoma. Coach, thank you for joining us. Coach Jeff Myers of the Kingfisher Yellow Jackets. We certainly appreciate you, and we thank you for watching us here on the Squirtle Live Coaches Preview.